Hey guys, what's up? My name's Vic Taylor and welcome to episode 33 of my random class series. Today we are going to be doing the Commando, Suppressor and Dual Mags and I end 40 and 6. I do hope you enjoy it. For what I'm going to be talking about today, it's something a little bit deeper than usual. So before we start, I would just like to say that all views that I express in this video are personal, they're mine, I don't speak for anyone else, and if you are offended by them, then I do apologise, but at no point am I saying that my opinion is fact. It is just that, an opinion, and you are welcome to raise any and all issues that you have with that opinion, but obviously, please be respectful of other people's. Thank you. And also, if this runs over, then I am going to be putting either another gameplay or a series of clips at the end of this video, so I don't have to split it up into two parts. So what I'm going to be talking about today, two quite controversial and contravening topics actually. The first of which, the government is always right. And don't worry, that is not the majority of the sweeping statement, that is not it. I am going to explain that in more depth because I know how it sounds. The second of which, and completely going against that, is that censorship is wrong. So, let's go back to the first point, the government. I've always been a great believer in kind of defending the people who run your country. I mean, you may not have wanted them there, you may have voted for someone completely different, but it is the fact that they are there, they are running the country, and they therefore represent you. They represent what you stand for, they represent you, your families, your friends, etc., etc., and at the end of the day, they are your country. I've always been a believer in patriotism, I've been a patriot, I want to serve my country, and I believe that the best way to do that, if you cannot go into the army or some form of serving your country physically like that, then you can support your government. I have never been one to even consider doing protests of any sort, though if you have, that's absolutely fine. I mean, going back to what I said at the beginning. But it's deeper than that, as I'm sure you will agree, because sometimes the government gets it wrong. Sometimes they fuck up immeasurably and everyone else suffers for their mistakes. So it's not such a fact of the government always being right, but a belief in me that it is always right to support the government. No matter what they do, no matter how much they fuck up, because they are still your country's government. They owe loyalty to you, but you also owe loyalty to them. And I'm sure this will not be a popular opinion. I actually haven't met anyone who actually agrees with this opinion. But let's take the war for an example, because that is something that I've discussed before, and it's a very extremely strong belief in my core. It's one of my core beliefs. The reasons for getting into the war that we are in now. You can pick any of the wars we're in now, to be honest, or any of the wars we've been in previously, or any of the wars we're going to be in. It doesn't matter. But the reasons that we have got into this war, whichever one you're thinking of, they don't matter. At the end of the day, the reasons don't give a damn. They are not going to fight for you, they are not going to protect your country, they are not going to do anything for you other than get you where you are now. So the reasons don't matter. But the fact is that we are there. We are there in that country, probably invading, because we haven't been invaded for a rather long time, thankfully. And we have a loyalty to not only ourselves, as in continue fighting, which probably shouldn't come into it. I'm a very proud person, and that has fucked me over occasionally. I don't think that pride and those sort of emotions should come into war, because then you lose sight of what you're actually doing. And, some emotions are fine, but pride and not knowing when to back down and retreat, that can be a problem. As I'm sure you will agree, I've got many a few bruises and a couple of broken bones from not knowing when to back down and taking my pride too far, as it were. But, yeah, the reasons, they don't matter. We're here, and we have loyalty not only to ourselves, but also to the people whose country we have invaded. For instance, pick one of the countries we are in the war in the Middle East at the moment. I really hope it's the Middle East, or I've got my geography terribly and embarrassingly wrong, and someone will undoubtedly correct me. But we have invaded their country, for good or for worse, for poorer or for better, some kind of marriage vow in there somewhere, and we have, let's just say, because I'm not getting into the whole moral compass of it, we have stopped them being oppressed. If we leave, what will happen? They will go back to being oppressed. and it is exactly what happened in the Vietnam War. And I haven't studied it, so I only know the bare facts. So if I have got it wrong, I do apologise here. But we invaded Vietnam, we stopped the public from being oppressed, and then we ran out of money, we ran out of troops, so we left. And while it wounds my pride incredibly, I think it was America. I'm unsure about the British's involvement in that. I completely don't know there. But that annoyed me because the whole idea of just backing out of a country when you're there, you're invested in them. They may as well be your own people when you have been fighting and dying for them with such frequency. That's wrong. I mean, I don't want to get into the moral compass of things, but abandoning someone that you are protecting, whether it be war, whether it be everyday life, whether it be your family, your friends, anything like that, that is viewed by me as being wrong. I'm sorry, but I cannot say that that is good in any way, shape or form. So, it's deeper than the government is always right. It's more, I will always support the government because they are my people and I am loyal to them. But moving on to the censorship, which is a contravening issue in itself and against politics. If you follow me on Twitter, you will know that I've been talking about this quite stridently the last couple of days, and that's basically where I rant to. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll get some rants from me because, I don't know, it's just a nice place where I can air my views without the judgment of the people in my personal life. You know, not my family, they're awesome, but, you know, my real life friends and everything. Because, you're different people. You're a different person when you're on the internet and when you're with your friends. I'm sure you will agree. But if you're on Twitter, it's just somewhere nice that I can put my views out there and I can get response on them. And it's a wide variety of responses, so it's always nice. But censorship is always wrong. Let's get the other side of that out of the way first, because that is linked to war. Censorship can be used correctly when you are having a war. For instance, the Second World War. And I'm just going to say this video is going to run over. I do apologise, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm still talking. Censorship during the Second World War. The governing body of the British country, wow. Let's just move on from that really quickly. Did not tell the public, the general public, all of the negative things that were happening during the Second World War. When, the soldiers got pushed back out of the trenches, we had boats going down, etc., etc. All the negative engagements weren't passed on to the public. We only had the positive engagements, the ones where we won, the ones that, if told to the public, would get a greater public response and increase the sense of unity that the public had. And I believe that is the point where it becomes not so much as right, because I still don't want to touch this fucking moral compass, but where it becomes useful and logical to do so, because during a war the public opinion matters. The public feeling matters, because the soldiers going in and out of the country, they are going to feel what the public are feeling. They are going to notice if they get booed as they're walking down the streets or if they get cheered. And, if you're going into a war zone to help protect your family and your friends and the people, your entire country, you do not want to get booed. I find war protesters deeply insulting. And if you are a war protester, feel free to raise your views. I'm not going to block you or whatever, but I find the idea of it, because it's all just ideas this, it's not the actual people that I find insulting, it's the idea of protesting against a war that is protecting you, that is keeping you safe, because to be honest, if we hadn't fought during the Second World War, Hitler would be over here right now. How would you like that? How would you like people invading us because we have no armed forces, because we have no defences? I can't figure it out in my head. It seems completely logical to me. And I don't know, this is something that I will probably never figure out because it's just so obvious to me, and it doesn't seem obvious to anyone else or many other people, and I'm confused by that. But that is my example of where I believe censorship is right and it can help people. But what actually brought up this whole censorship argument in my head is that I watch a lot of TV, and there have been several TV programs over this year alone which have had scenes and episodes cut out of them because either a corporate body, the government, and or the broadcaster and or anyone else, I can't, list the names, doesn't like what those scenes or those episodes portray. I'm not going to mention any individual TV series, though I do mention one of them, I believe, on my Twitter feed, because the individual TV series isn't the point. It's the fact that complaints made by corporate bodies, companies who sell a product, and the episode of a certain TV series displays an opinion that that product is damaging to the general public's health. That is the situation that happened in the removed episodes, which I'm sure you can find if you really try hard, the situation on it and everything. The corporate body that had this done against them, they complained to the broadcaster. The broadcaster then withdrew the episodes from the DVD packet. These episodes can now not be sold by this broadcaster. They exist somewhere, but why hold them back and increase this censorship-filled society that we have today? Why hold them back and just increase the belief that the viewership of the television cannot think for themselves and cannot form opinions for themselves? People are not going to watch the television, see a rumour or some half-constructed belief or opinion and think, yes, I will take that for my own. That is a good opinion, that is a strong opinion, when it is not proven. The majority of people are not that stupid. And someone on my Twitter feed raised a very good point. Why not put warnings at the beginnings of these episodes saying, this opinion expressed in this episode, blah blah blah, has since been disproven, or certain scenes in this episode will offend certain viewers. We're not idiots, and we should not be treated as such. Censorship overall is wrong, and I believe it is one of the few places where I will not support the government. So, you've heard a lot about my opinions today, and I'm not one of these crackpot, theorist people. All my opinions are laid out from facts that I have received. And I don't know, it's just very confusing because no one else seems to have the opinions that I do. And that's worrying, because why wouldn't it be? But I hope you do enjoy this video. If you have any opinions on the matter, please leave them in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.